Behind the glitter of trade and the progress of 18th century Batavia lies a dark tale rarely told. A bloody tragedy that reshaped the city and left deep wounds in the lives of thousands. This is the story of the Angke tragedy, the mass massacre of the Chinese community in Batavia in 1740. How could a city once praised as the Pearl of the East became a silent witness to such unimaginable cruelty? Who was behind this horrific event? And what lasting impact did it leave on our nation's history? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to bring you more meaningful stories. To understand this tragedy, we must return to Batavia in the early 18th century. A little history lesson for you. The city was a vital hub of the spice trade for the Ostindische Company. Thousands of Chinese immigrants came to Batavia seeking livelihood, bringing with them valuable skills. They dominated the sugar industry, working as laborers in mills, traders, craftsmen, and providers of various services. The Chinese community grew rapidly, establishing a bustling Chinatown filled with temples, shops, and traditional houses. At first, relations between the VOC and the Chinese community were mutually beneficial. But beneath this fragile prosperity, seeds of conflict began to take root. Over time, the VOC faced severe economic problems. The price of sugar collapsed in the international market. In search of scapegoats, the VOC turned its eyes on the Chinese community. Can you believe that? Discriminatory policies were introduced. The VOC limited Chinese immigration, imposed heavy taxes, and even required them to carry special residence permits. Those without such permits faced deportation to Ceylon, modern-day Sri Lanka, a fate that often meant death at sea. As economic conditions worsened and discrimination deepened, dissatisfaction and despair spread among the Chinese. A tense, fearful atmosphere enveloped Batavia. This unrest culminated in rebellion outside Batavia. Chinese sugar workers expelled from plantations joined forces with local inhabitants, forming a growing rebel army. In early October 1740, thousands of Chinese insurgents marched toward Batavia. They sought justice, demanded better treatment, and yearned to free themselves from the oppressive grip of the VOC. News of the advance sparked panic among VOC officials within the city walls. They saw it as a direct threat to their power and survival. On October 9, 1740, VOC's fear reached its peak. Under the pretext of preventing riots, Governor General Adrian Valkenier issued a ruthless order: the arrest and mass killing of Chinese residents within the city walls. That night, Batavia descended into hell. VOC soldiers and hired indigenous militias, fueled by fear and hatred, stormed Chinatown. Doors were broken down, people were dragged into the streets and massacred without mercy. Flames lit up the dark Batavian sky as houses burned. Thousands of lives were extinguished: children, women, the elderly, all fell victim to unspeakable cruelty. The massacre did not stop in Chinatown. Violence spread throughout Batavia. Anyone who could get it, got it. Anyone who appeared Chinese became a target. Even those who had surrendered and sought refuge in forts were not spared. For days, the city reeked of blood and smoke. It is estimated that more than 10,000 Chinese lives were lost. Making it one of the largest mass killings in the colonial history of the archipelago. Corpses lay on the streets, dumped into canals, or burned. The Angke River became a silent witness, its waters turning red with blood. Some sources even suggest that the name Angke derives from the Hokkien dialect meaning red. The Angke tragedy had devastating consequences. Batavia's Chinese community was shattered. Survivors fled the city, seeking refuge in the interior, or returned to China. The VOC itself faced criticism from many quarters, including the Dutch government. Governor-General Valkenier was eventually dismissed and imprisoned, though true justice for the victims were never delivered. The tragedy also left a complex legacy. It reshaped Batavia's demographics, triggering wider rebellions in Java and etching a deep collective trauma among the Chinese in the archipelago. The story of the Angke tragedy is a bitter reminder of the dangers of hatred, discrimination, and abuse of power. It teaches us that history is the greatest teacher and that we must learn from the mistakes of the past to build a better future. Though centuries have passed, its memory remains relevant. It reminds us of the importance of tolerance, respect for diversity, and the need to preserve peace among ethnic communities. May this story serve as a reflection for us all, so that such tragedies may never again be repeated on our homeland's soil. You got that?